"Can you take her instead of me?" asked the little girl. Cowboy said nothing, then took both. The little town sat quietly between long dirt roads and wide open fields where the wind never seemed to stop. The houses were small and old, many with broken fences and windows that had been patched with wood instead of glass. Life here moved slowly, and people learned to live with less. In one of the smallest houses at the edge of town lived a little girl named Lily and her mother Anna. Lily was 8 years old, with soft brown hair that her mother tied back every morning before school. Her eyes were bright, even though her clothes were worn and her shoes had holes near the toes. She tried not to complain. She knew her mother worked very hard, and she did not want to make things harder for her. Anna worked at the town diner. Every day, she woke up before the sun rose and walked the long road to work. She served coffee, washed dishes, and cleaned tables until her hands felt sore and tired. At the end of the day, she walked home again, carrying a small bag of food if she could afford it. Some days it was just bread. Other days it was soup in a jar. She always smiled when she walked through the door, even if her body felt heavy. That afternoon, Lily sat on the wooden steps outside their house, watching dust rise from the road. She liked to imagine that every cloud of dust meant someone new was coming, maybe someone with a story to tell. She loved stories. Her mother told her stories at night, about places far away where the land was green and the houses were strong and warm.
The sound of hooves reached her ears.
Lily stood up and looked down the road. A man on a horse was coming closer. He rode slowly, as if he had nowhere he needed to be. His hat sat low over his face, and his coat looked worn by long travel. The horse looked tired but calm. The man stopped near the old tree by Lily's house. He got down from the horse and tied it to the fence. He took off his hat and wiped his face with a cloth. Lily watched him closely. She was not afraid, just curious. After a moment, she walked a few steps closer. "Hello," she said in a small, clear voice. The man looked at her. His eyes were kind but tired, like he had seen many long days and nights. He nodded. "Hello, little one," he said. Lily smiled. "Are you traveling far?" The man thought for a moment. "I've been traveling for a long time," he answered. "Where are you going?" Lily asked. He looked down the road, then back at her. "Not sure," he said. "Sometimes I just follow the road and see where it takes me." Lily liked that answer. It sounded like a story. "My name is Lily," she said. "I live here with my mom." "That's a nice name," the man said. "I'm called Jack." Lily pointed to the horse. "Is he tired?" Jack looked at the horse and smiled a little. "We both are," he said. "We've been on the road for days." Lily ran inside and came back with a small cup of water. "You can give this to him," she said, holding it out. Jack knelt down and took the cup. "Thank you," he said. He poured the water for the horse, who drank slowly and calmly. Lily sat back on the steps. "Do you have a family?" she asked. Jack froze for just a second. His hand stopped moving and his eyes looked far away. Then he shook his head gently. "Not anymore," he said. Lily did not know what to say. She just nodded. Inside the house, Anna was folding clothes. She looked out the window and saw Lily talking to the stranger. Her heart jumped and she rushed outside. "Lily," she said, trying to keep her voice calm. "Come here, please." Lily stood up. "It's okay, Mom," she said. "He's nice." Jack stood and took off his hat. "Ma'am," he said politely, "I'm just resting my horse for a bit. I won't be any trouble." Anna looked at him closely. She saw the tired lines on his face and the worn look of his clothes. She nodded. "All right," she said, "just for a bit." Lily smiled brightly and sat back down. Anna went inside, but she kept the door open so she could hear. Jack sat on the fence near Lily. The wind moved through the dry grass, and for a moment everything felt still. "Do you like living here?" Jack asked. Lily shrugged. "It's okay, but it's cold at night, and sometimes Mom is very tired." Jack nodded. "Your mom works hard." "Yes," Lily said. "I try to help. I get water and sticks for the fire." Jack smiled. "That's good of you." Lily looked at the house. The paint was peeling and the roof had a hole near the back. "I wish our house was better," she said softly. Jack followed her eyes. He felt something heavy in his chest. Lily was quiet for a moment. Then she stood up and walked toward the door. She looked back at Jack. "My mom is inside," she said. "She looks sad sometimes." Jack did not say anything. Lily took a deep breath. "Can you take her instead of me?" she asked. "She works so hard. I think she should have a better life." The words hit Jack like a strong wind. He stood up slowly. He did not know what to say. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Lily waited. Jack looked at the small house, the quiet road, and the little girl standing in front of him with hope in her eyes. He felt memories rise in his heart, memories of his own past, of a home he once had and people he once loved. Anna stood in the doorway, having heard the last words. Her eyes filled with tears, but she did not move. Jack knelt in front of Lily. "You're very brave," he said softly. "You love your mom a lot." Lily nodded. Jack stood up and put his hat back on. "I can't take anyone away," he said gently. "But maybe I can stay for a while." Lily's face lit up. Jack tied his horse closer to the fence. He picked up a loose board near the house and started to fix it. Anna came out and offered him a small cup of soup. "Thank you," he said. They sat together on the steps, the three of them, as the sun began to set behind the fields. The sky turned soft colors of orange and pink. Lily leaned against her mother, and Anna looked at Jack with quiet thanks in her eyes. Jack looked down the road one more time. For the first time in a long while, he did not feel the need to follow it. After that first evening, Jack decided to stay near the little house a while longer. He kept a quiet distance at first, not wanting to disturb the small family, but he could not stop thinking about Lily's words. "Can you take her instead of me?" They echoed in his mind, soft and strong at the same time. They reminded him of the family he had lost long ago, of mornings filled with laughter and the smell of breakfast on the stove. He had carried loneliness for so many years, wandering from town to town, never staying anywhere long enough to make a connection. But now, seeing Lily and Anna, he felt something shift inside him. Jack found small ways to help without drawing attention. Early in the mornings, he would leave bundles of firewood near their doorstep. Sometimes he brought fresh bread from the town bakery, careful to leave it where no one would see. The little acts felt strange to him at first. He was a man used to traveling alone, yet something about helping them felt right. Lily noticed these gifts. Each day she looked for them, her eyes lighting up when she saw a bundle of sticks or a loaf of bread waiting by the door. She could not see who had left them, but she had a feeling in her heart that it was the quiet cowboy she had met. Meanwhile, Anna was unaware at first. She was too busy with her long shifts at the diner and the constant worry about bills and food. She noticed small improvements, the firewood that stayed dry in the morning, bread left on the porch, but she thought maybe someone in town had been kind. She did not know it was Jack. And Jack preferred it that way. He wanted to help without needing thanks. Each morning, Jack would ride his horse along the dirt roads surrounding the town. He watched the sunrise, painting the fields gold, and sometimes he would stop near Lily's house, pretending to check his horse, just to see them from a distance. He watched how Lily ran barefoot to gather water from the small stream nearby. She was careful to avoid slipping, but sometimes she fell and laughed at herself. Jack smiled quietly. She was brave, and she reminded him of his own little sister, long gone. One afternoon, as Jack was passing the house again, he noticed Lily trying to fix a broken fence post. She was determined, her small hands gripping the splintered wood. Jack dismounted silently and walked up behind her. "Need some help?" he asked. Lily jumped slightly but then smiled. "Oh, you scared me," she said. "Yes, I can't do this alone." Jack knelt down beside her and showed her how to hammer the post in place safely. He moved gently, not rushing her, letting her learn by doing. She listened carefully and followed his instructions. When the post finally stood straight, she clapped her hands. "Thank you! Now it won't fall on the chickens," she said. Jack laughed softly. "Good job," he said. "You're learning fast." Over the next few days, Jack spent more time with them. He helped repair the roof where water leaked, and he fixed a broken chair inside the house. He would arrive quietly, do his work, and leave again before Anna even noticed. Lily started talking to him more, asking questions about the places he had traveled and the people he had met. Jack told her stories, but he kept some things private, stories of sorrow he could not yet share. One evening, a neighbor stopped by and mentioned that a group of rough men had been asking about small houses in town, looking for easy targets. Jack's heart sank. He had been waiting for this, knowing that life in the town was not always safe for families like Lily and Anna's. He stayed awake that night, listening to the wind and imagining what could happen if trouble came. He knew he had to act before it was too late. The next morning, he went to town to gather supplies. He bought extra rope, a small lantern, and a few simple tools. He walked along the road, pretending to be a traveler passing through, but his mind was focused on the little family. Lily was playing outside, humming a small tune, while Anna swept the porch. Jack saw them and felt a wave of protection wash over him. He could not let harm come near them. That evening, as the sun began to dip behind the hills, Jack noticed movement at the edge of the town. He saw the rough men approaching, their boots kicking up dust. They laughed loudly and shouted at each other, showing no care for anyone around. Jack felt his jaw tighten. He mounted his horse and rode toward them, not recklessly, but with calm determination. He knew that fear could be as powerful as force, and he intended to use both. When the men reached Lily's street, they began to look at the small houses with interest. One of them pointed toward Lily's home. "That one looks easy," he said. Jack rode up slowly, his hat low over his eyes. "Evening," he said calmly. The men turned toward him. "Who are you?" one of them asked, stepping forward. "I'm just passing through," Jack said, but his voice carried authority. "This is a quiet town. You don't want trouble here." The men laughed. "We make our own fun," one said. Jack dismounted, placing his hand near the rope on his saddle, not drawing a weapon, just showing readiness. "I won't ask again," he said. "Leave this place, or you'll regret it." The men hesitated, surprised by the calm confidence of the stranger. He did not shout or threaten loudly. He simply stood there, his presence strong, his eyes steady. Lily peeked from behind the fence, and Anna held her close. They watched quietly, unsure what would happen. Jack did not let them see his fear, if he had any. He only focused on the men. Finally, the group decided it was not worth the trouble. They grumbled and moved on, leaving the little town behind. Jack stayed with them for a few moments, watching to ensure they really left. When he turned back, Lily ran to him. "You saved us," she said, hugging his leg. Jack knelt down to her level. "I only did what I could," he said. "You both need to be safe." Anna came out, her eyes wide with relief. "Thank you," she whispered. "I don't know what we would have done." Jack smiled faintly. "You're stronger than you think," he said. But sometimes even the strong need help. Over the next few weeks, Jack became a quiet presence in their lives. He did not force a family on them, but he showed them that someone cared. Lily would run to meet him each morning, and Anna would often find him quietly fixing something in the house or yard. Sometimes they ate together, sharing simple meals, and he would tell them stories about the lands he had seen. Through these days, Jack began to feel something he had not felt in a long time: hope. Not just for himself, but for them. Lily's laughter, so bright and innocent, reminded him that life could still be good. Anna's quiet strength inspired him. He realized that sometimes family was not just about blood. It was about care, protection, and love given freely. One afternoon, as the sun cast long shadows over the fields, Lily ran to him with a small basket of apples. "Here," she said, "for you." Jack took the apples and smiled. "Thank you," he said. "These are the sweetest I've ever seen." Lily beamed. "They're from our tree. We planted it last year." Jack nodded. "You did well," he said. "You are both very good people." The days turned into weeks, and Jack knew he had found a place that mattered. He began to dream not of the road or traveling, but of keeping them safe, helping them, and staying nearby. The little house, once a place of struggle, now felt like a home with warmth and laughter filling the air. Every evening he would sit on the steps with Lily and Anna. Sometimes they spoke, sometimes they sat in silence, enjoying the peaceful air. Jack realized that family could be found even in unexpected places, and sometimes a little courage and kindness could change lives forever. Jack never said much about his past, but each quiet act of help, each story he told, and each moment he stayed showed Lily and Anna that he was there to protect them. And slowly, over those quiet weeks, a bond grew, one built on trust, care, and the unspoken promise of safety. Through it all, Lily never forgot her first question, and Jack never forgot the weight of it, the hope of a little girl who wished for a better life for her mother. He had started out as a quiet observer, a traveler passing through, but now he was becoming someone who mattered, someone who could make a difference, and perhaps someone who could finally call a place home. Weeks passed since Jack had quietly started helping Lily and her mother Anna. The little house at the edge of town seemed warmer now, not just from the firewood he had brought or the repairs he had made, but from the sense of care and protection that had slowly settled into its walls. Lily laughed more often, her small hands full of chores, but her heart light with hope. Anna no longer felt so alone. She could see that someone truly cared about her and her daughter, and the weight she carried seemed just a little lighter each day. One morning, Jack awoke earlier than usual. The sky was painted with soft shades of orange and pink, the kind that made the world feel calm and alive all at once. He saddled his horse and decided to check the fences along the neighboring fields. He knew the rough men from before might still linger nearby, even though they had left. Trouble could return at any moment. He rode slowly, careful to avoid alarming anyone in the town. As he passed the small bakery, he saw Mr. Peterson the baker unloading crates of fresh bread. "Morning, Jack, mister," Peterson called. "You're out early." "Morning," Jack replied. "Just checking the roads." Mr. Peterson raised an eyebrow. The little family on the edge of town? You've been helping them, haven't you? Jack nodded slightly. They need it. The baker smiled. Good man. That little girl deserves it. Jack thanked him quietly and continued down the road. The wind whispered across the fields, carrying the faint smell of fresh earth and growing grass. He stopped at a fence that had begun to lean dangerously from recent storms. He tied his horse to a nearby post and examined the wood. As he worked to secure the fence, he thought of Lily and Anna inside their small house. They were strong, yes, but sometimes life could be unfair and cruel, and Jack did not want to see them hurt. Back at the house, Lily was helping her mother wash the small pile of laundry they had collected. The water in the bucket was chilly, but she worked with determination. Mom, she said, do you think Jack will be here today? Anna looked over her shoulder and smiled. I hope so. He's been very kind to us. Lily paused for a moment, thinking. Do you think he was always alone? Anna nodded. Sometimes people have hard pasts. Maybe he needed to find a place to belong too. Lily returned to scrubbing, but her mind wandered. She had grown attached to Jack not just because he helped, but because he listened. He treated her like she mattered, like her small voice could carry weight. Most adults in town were too busy with their own lives to notice little things like that. Later that afternoon, Jack returned to the house. He dismounted and tied his horse near the porch. Lily ran to greet him, her hands muddy from the garden work she had done earlier. You're back, she said. We tried planting more flowers today? Jack smiled. I saw. You're doing well. These flowers will grow strong. Anna emerged from the kitchen, holding a small loaf of bread. Sit with us for a moment, she said. I baked this morning. Jack accepted gratefully. The three of them sat together on the steps, sharing bread and talking quietly. For a while, there was only the sound of the wind moving through the tall grass, the soft clinking of dishes, and the occasional laughter of Lily. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the distant hills, Jack noticed movement at the edge of town. His heart tightened. A group of men, rough-looking and loud, were approaching the streets near the small houses. Jack's jaw clenched. He knew this group. They were looking for trouble, searching for homes like Lily's that were easy targets. He mounted his horse and rode to the edge of town, keeping out of sight until he could observe their numbers. 4 men were moving slowly, checking the fences and small yards, laughing cruelly. Jack could see Lily peeking through the window, her small face pale with worry. Anna was holding her close, whispering words of comfort he could not hear. Jack felt a surge of determination. He could not let harm come to them. He rode out, slowly at first, and then with more presence. He stopped directly in their path, his horse planted firmly on the ground. Evening, Jack said, his voice calm but firm. The men turned. One stepped forward, smirking. Who are you? He asked. Another cowboy in town? I'm just passing through, Jack said, though his posture made it clear he would not move easily. This is a quiet town. You don't want trouble here. The men laughed. Trouble finds us anyway, one said, gripping a small stick. Jack remained calm. He did not shout or draw a weapon. He simply stood there, his presence steady, showing strength and courage without raising his voice. He had learned long ago that confidence could be as powerful as force. The men hesitated, unsure. Jack took a slow step forward, his eyes meeting theirs without fear. Leave this town, he said, or you will regret it. For a moment there was silence. Lily pressed her face against the window, her hands trembling. Anna whispered softly, trying to calm her daughter. Finally the men grumbled and decided it was not worth the trouble. They moved on, kicking up dust as they left. Jack watched them go, ensuring they truly left before relaxing his posture. When he returned to the house, Lily ran to him, her small arms wrapping around his leg. You saved us again, she said, eyes shining. Jack knelt to her level. I only did what I could, he said softly. You both are very brave. Anna came out of the house, her face full of relief. Thank you, she said. I don't know what we would do without you. Jack smiled faintly. You are stronger than you realize, he said. But sometimes even the strong need help. The next weeks passed peacefully. Jack became a regular presence in their lives. That he helped with chores, repaired broken furniture, and even taught Lily small skills like tying knots and reading maps. Lily began to see him not just as a helper, but as someone she could trust completely. She told him small secrets, dreams, and hopes she had never shared with anyone else. Jack listened carefully, never judging, always encouraging. Anna began to relax as well. She no longer worried constantly about food or safety because Jack quietly ensured there was always enough firewood, fresh water, and provisions. She started smiling more, laughing quietly at Lily's small jokes, and even sharing memories from her own childhood with Jack. The little house felt alive again, filled with warmth, laughter, and hope. One evening, after a long day of work in the garden, Lily sat beside Jack on the porch. "Do you think we'll always be safe now?" she asked softly. Jack looked at her, then at the fading sun over the fields. "I will do everything I can to keep you safe," he said. "But sometimes life is unpredictable. That's why we must stay strong together." Lily nodded, feeling comforted. "I'm glad you're here," she said. Jack smiled faintly. "Me too," he said. From that day on, Jack knew that his purpose had shifted. He had once wandered alone, a traveler with no place to call home. But now he realized that sometimes family was not about blood. It was about caring, protecting, and standing together. Lily and Anna had become a part of his life, and he had become a part of theirs. Even though the rough men had been driven away, Jack remained vigilant. He knew life in the town could still hold challenges, but he also knew that courage, kindness, and quiet strength could overcome fear. And in the hearts of Lily and Anna, he saw the beginnings of hope that he had not felt in years. Days turned into weeks, and the small family grew closer. Jack's presence was a steady force, quiet yet powerful. Lily's laughter echoed through the fields. Anna smiled more than she had in years, and Jack found himself finally understanding that helping others could heal not just them, but also himself. Evening after evening they sat together, sharing stories, meals, and quiet moments. And slowly the little house at the edge of town stopped feeling like a place of struggle and became a place of warmth, love, and belonging, a place where courage, kindness, and trust had built a new kind of family. The small house at the edge of town was beginning to feel like a true home. Jack had settled into a quiet rhythm with Lily and Anna. Each day he woke early to care for the horse, check the fences, and complete small repairs around the house. In the afternoons, he would help Lily with chores or teach her small lessons about the land, animals, and practical skills she could use in life. Anna worked at the diner as usual, but the load she carried in her heart seemed lighter. Jack's quiet presence gave her hope, and she found herself smiling more, feeling less alone. One morning, Jack noticed that Lily seemed unusually quiet. She was sitting on the steps with her small hands clasped together, staring at the warm boards of the porch. "Lily," Jack said gently, kneeling beside her, "what's on your mind?" She looked up, her eyes serious. "I was thinking about the past," she said softly, "about how things used to be before we met you." Jack nodded. He understood completely. Life had not been easy for them, and sometimes memories of struggle and sadness returned unexpectedly. "It's okay to think about the past," he said. "It helps us know how much we've grown." Lily smiled faintly. I wish things could always be safe." Jack reached over and placed a hand on her small shoulder. "I will do everything I can to keep you safe," he said. "But sometimes life can surprise us. That's why we need to stay strong, together." Lily nodded. "I'm glad you're here," she said. Jack smiled. "Me too," he said. That afternoon, he decided to do something special. He went into town and bought seeds for a garden, some small flowers, and a few simple tools. He wanted to give Lily and Anna something that would grow, something that could symbolize the hope and care they had found together. When he returned, Lily ran to meet him. "What's in the basket?" she asked eagerly. "Seeds," Jack said, "for flowers and vegetables. I thought we could start a garden together." Lily's eyes lit up. "Really? Oh, thank you," she exclaimed. Anna smiled warmly. "That's wonderful, Jack. It will make the yard so bright and cheerful." Over the next few days, they worked together to prepare the soil, plant seeds, and water the young sprouts. Lily learned how to dig small holes for the seeds, how to cover them gently with soil, and how to water them just enough so they could grow. Jack taught her patience, showing her that plants, like people, needed care and attention to thrive. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sun dip behind the hills, Anna spoke softly. "Jack," she said, "I don't know how to thank you. You've changed our lives in so many ways." Jack looked at her quietly. "You don't need to thank me," he said. "I only did what I thought was right. You both deserve a chance to be happy and safe." Anna reached out and held his hand briefly. "You've become part of our family," she said. "I hope you know that." Jack felt a lump in his throat. He had not expected to hear those words. For so long he had wandered alone, never allowing himself to belong anywhere. Now, hearing Anna's words, he realized that he had found a place where he mattered. He had found a family not by blood, but by love, care, and shared life. Days later, Jack noticed that the little town was quieter than usual. The streets were empty, and the distant hills seemed to hold a strange stillness. Something did not feel right. He mounted his horse and rode slowly around the edges of town, keeping a careful watch. He could not shake the feeling that trouble might return. Sure enough, a week later, the rough men from before appeared again, this time closer to the main street. Jack saw them from a distance, their boots kicking up dust as they moved, laughing and shouting as though the town belonged to them. Jack's heart tightened. He could not allow them to harm the people he had come to care for so deeply. He rode directly toward them, his posture calm but determined. "Evening," he said, his voice steady. The men turned, surprised to see him again. "You again?" One of them sneered. "We didn't finish last time." Jack's eyes narrowed. "This town is quiet and peaceful," he said firmly. "You are not welcome here." The men laughed, but Jack remained calm. He did not shout or make sudden moves. He simply stood there, showing strength and courage with his presence alone. After a tense moment, the men decided it was not worth the trouble and slowly walked away, muttering under their breath. Jack watched them go, ensuring they did not return before finally relaxing. Returning to the little house, he found Lily waiting on the porch, her small hands gripping the railing. "Did they leave?" she asked nervously. "Yes," Jack said. "They won't bother us anymore." Lily ran to him, hugging his leg tightly. "Thank you for protecting us," she said. Anna emerged from the doorway, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You've given us hope," she said softly. "We can finally breathe again." Jack smiled, though he felt a weight settle in his chest. Protecting them was not just about keeping them safe. It was about teaching them to be strong, to trust themselves, and to believe that good people existed in the world. Over the following weeks, life returned to a peaceful rhythm. The garden grew, small sprouts pushing through the soil. Lily learned patience, care, and responsibility. She helped water the plants, remove weeds, and even set up small wooden markers to label each plant. Jack showed her how to track the weather, measure rainfall, and understand the cycles of nature. Anna helped as well, planting flowers along the porch and tending to vegetables that would feed them in the coming months. One afternoon while tending the garden, Lily paused and looked at Jack. "Do you think the flowers will bloom soon?" she asked. "They will," Jack said, smiling. "With care and patience, everything grows, just like people." Lily nodded, understanding more than the words alone could express. She realized that Jack had taught her not just about plants, but about life itself. He had shown her that even in difficult times, hope could grow if nurtured with love and attention. As the sun set behind the hills, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Jack, Lily, and Anna sat together on the porch. The wind carried the faint smell of flowers and earth, mixing with the warmth of the firewood they had stacked nearby. It was quiet, peaceful, and safe. For the first time in a long while, Jack felt that he truly belonged somewhere. Not just in a house, but in the hearts of those he had come to care for. Jack had started as a stranger, a traveler passing through, but now he was part of a family. Lily had found a protector and a teacher, Anna had found hope and a friend, and Jack had found a home and purpose. Together they had built something stronger than walls or fences. They had built trust, love, and a sense of belonging that would carry them through the challenges of life ahead. The early morning sun spread golden light over the small town, painting the fields and rooftops with warmth. Jack sat on the wooden steps of the little house, his hat tipped low over his eyes as he sipped water from a tin cup. Lily was playing nearby with a small wooden toy she had carved herself, humming a quiet tune. Anna had gone into town early to work at the diner, but she had left a note that she would be back by lunchtime. Jack looked around the yard, noticing how far the small garden had grown since they had first planted it. Tiny green shoots now peeked from the soil, promising flowers and vegetables in the coming weeks. Jack's thoughts drifted as he watched Lily play. For a long time he had wandered from town to town, never staying, never letting himself care too deeply about anyone. Life had taught him to trust no one and to expect nothing. But now, here, in this small house at the edge of town, everything was different. He had found a place where he mattered, where the little girl's laughter and Anna's quiet strength gave his heart something he hadn't felt in years: purpose. As he adjusted the straps of his saddlebag, Jack thought about the offer he had received a few days earlier. A group of travelers heading west had sent word through the town. They promised good work, a chance to earn money, and the opportunity to ride freely across new lands. It was a kind of life Jack had known before, a life of freedom and distance, but it also meant leaving Lily and Anna behind. Jack rose and walked over to the fence, looking toward the road that led out of town. He could imagine the open plains, the wind against his face, and the excitement of adventure calling him. For a moment he felt the old pull of the road, the familiar urge to keep moving, to keep running. But then he looked back at the little house, the small wooden steps where Lily had run to meet him each morning, the tiny garden they had planted together, Anna's smiling face as she carried food from the kitchen. He felt the weight of their lives in his hands, fragile and precious. Lily ran over to him, holding a small bundle of flowers she had picked from the garden. "Look, Jack!" she exclaimed, her eyes shining. "These are for you." Jack knelt and took the flowers gently, smelling them softly. "Thank you, Lily," he said. "They're beautiful." She smiled, then looked up at him with a serious expression. "Will you stay?" she asked quietly. Jack's heart tightened. He did not answer immediately. He looked down the road once more, feeling the tug of the open plains. Then he looked at Lily, her small hands clutching the flowers, and he realized something important. Life on the road could wait. What mattered most now was here, in this little house, with the people who had become his family. The afternoon passed slowly. Jack helped Lily water the garden while she told him about the small animals she had seen hiding among the flowers. Anna returned from the diner, tired but smiling. She carried a small basket of bread and fruit, which she set on the kitchen table. "Jack," she said softly, "we've been so lucky to have you here." Jack looked at her, a quiet smile crossing his face. "I've been lucky too," he said. "Being here with you both has been more than I ever expected." They ate together quietly, sharing simple food, laughter, and stories of the day. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and gold, Jack felt a peace he had not known in years. The world outside the little town could be harsh and unpredictable, but here, in this small house, life felt steady, safe, and full of warmth. Later, as the evening settled in and the stars began to appear, Jack and Lily sat on the porch together. The little girl leaned against him, her head resting on his shoulder. "I'm glad you're here," she whispered. Jack wrapped an arm around her gently. "So am I," he said. "So am I." The next morning, Jack made a decision. He rode into town briefly, visiting the messenger who had brought the offer from the travelers heading west. "Tell them," he said calmly, "I won't be joining them. My path is here now." The messenger raised an eyebrow. "You're sure?" "It's a good opportunity. Money, freedom." Jack shook his head. "I've had freedom for a long time, but some things are more important than freedom. Some things are worth staying for." After he returned, Jack spent the day preparing the little house for the coming season. He repaired fences, stacked firewood, and checked the garden. Lily followed him around, helping where she could. Anna worked beside them, carrying supplies and smiling at the small tasks that seemed so simple but mattered so much. That evening, the three of them sat together outside, watching the sun disappear behind the distant hills. The air was filled with the scent of flowers and the faint sound of crickets. For the first time, Jack felt that he truly belonged somewhere. He had found a family, a home, and a purpose that mattered more than the wide-open road he had once followed. Days turned into weeks, and the little house became a place of warmth and life. The garden flourished, small sprouts turning into bright flowers and fresh vegetables. Lily learned how to care for the plants, how to tend to the animals, and how to work with patience and care. Anna began to take more time for herself, finding moments of rest and joy in the simple beauty around her. Jack continued to help, quietly guiding, protecting, and nurturing the home that had become so precious to him. One afternoon, a neighbor came by and complimented the garden. "You've done a wonderful job here," the neighbor said. "The flowers and vegetables look amazing." Lily smiled proudly. "Jack helped us," she said. The neighbor nodded at him. "It takes a kind and patient man to teach a little girl like this. You've done well." Jack nodded quietly, a small smile on his face. He did not need praise, but it felt good to know that the care he had given was seen and appreciated. As the seasons changed, the little house remained a place of safety and happiness. The rough men never returned, and the town seemed to accept Jack as part of their quiet community. Lily thrived under the guidance and love of Jack and her mother. She laughed often, learned many new things, and became confident in her own strength and ability. Anna found herself smiling more, feeling a peace she had not known for years. One cool evening, Jack sat by the fire outside, watching Lily and Anna as they finished chores. The wind moved softly through the trees, carrying the faint scent of flowers and fresh earth. Jack felt a deep contentment. He had chosen to stay, to be a part of their lives, and in doing so, he had found a home and a family that he could finally love and protect. Lily ran over to him, holding a small bouquet of flowers she had picked from the garden. "These are for you, Jack," she said, her eyes bright. Jack took the flowers, smelling them softly. "Thank you, Lily," he said. They're perfect, she smiled. I'm glad you stayed, she said simply. Jack's heart swelled with warmth. So am I, he said quietly. That night, as they all sat together on the porch, the stars shining above, Jack realized that life had finally given him something he had been missing for so long. Belonging. He had found a family, a home, and a purpose that mattered more than anything else. The little house at the edge of town was no longer just a place to live. It was a place filled with hope, laughter, and love. And in the quiet of that evening, with the soft wind brushing through the garden and the gentle glow of the fire, Jack knew that he had made the right choice. He had chosen family over freedom, love over solitude, and in doing so, he had found the one thing he had been searching for all along, a home where his heart truly belonged. Lily leaned against him, Anna held his other hand, and Jack looked out at the horizon, feeling a sense of peace and fulfillment he had never known. Together, they faced the world, not as strangers, not as lonely wanderers, but as a family united by care, trust, and the quiet strength of love. And so, the story of the quiet cowboy, the little girl, and her mother came to a close, not with an ending, but with a beginning of hope, warmth, and a life full of possibility. Jack had taken the choice to stay, to protect, and to love, and in that choice he had discovered the greatest treasure of all, family.